Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm feeling a little more alive.
A little more humbled, maybe?
A little more humbled because I might have thrown a hissy fit over coffee this morning with the hotel. Only after I also, of all the mechanical things I can do, in my stupor this morning, I did not put the coffee cup under the Keurig, kind of like it is right now. And I pushed play on the Keurig. And when I came out, it was all over everywhere. So I didn't think my wife should have to clean up my my stupidity. So
Wife greatly appreciates it.
yep, wife greatly appreciates that. So I spent the next like 15, 20 minutes cleaning that and didn't get my coffee. So then I went downstairs and I grabbed the last cup, the very last cup. And then I watched this very nice, stereotypical mom, like be like, I just drank the last of the coffee. And I like started to like panic a little bit. So I go around the corner and I say to the breakfast manager, and I was like, will you be making more coffee? And he was like, no. And I saw red. And I threw a hissy fit, a grown man hissy fit. That's not my proudest moment. But I did go back in.
Big man to admit that.
Yeah, I did go back in and tried to smooth things over and explain that I had cobbed up my first cup of coffee, that he was my Superman for the day. But he then explained that in our bajillion-dollar hotel that the kitchen had actually flooded and they were no longer able to serve anything, so they were going to be sending us to yet a different restaurant, semi-connected to the hotel, and they would be comping our breakfast there. So,
but there's still never a good reason to treat anyone unkindly.
You're going to be on camera if you keep adding into things. We're gonna do that. So at this point in time, I'm trying to feel more alive after some hard loading and driving, unloading. We got the Jeep set up in the convention center yesterday. It looks awesome. But the cool thing about our room, and hopefully Davey's camera will be able to pick it up, is we've got prime real estate for checking out the parade. The parade is really, really important. Parades in general to the Jeep community are super important, and we can check it all out. So we have the traffic that is... This is not north and south. I actually think it's east and west, but the traffic that we can see out on the road itself is part of staging. And what they're actually all trying to do is over to the left of the road. So the people out on the road are just getting in line to go get staged. And then there's a second road over there. And then they're also coming in from the far side as well. And something... I don't really know what this is, but it's super cool, and I'm certain that somebody on the YouTube will tell us here in the comments what this is in Toledo. I've seen it for years now. It is a giant solar farm. I'm not sure where, what, why, how it got developed, what it feeds, what it doesn't feed, but it has actually a solar canopied parking area, and it's got to be able to park a couple thousand Jeeps under there, be my guess. And so what they're doing is all of those Jeeps we see are staging underneath those solar panels over there. And they look like, tiny little ants. So it's pretty cool to think of just how many Jeeps are getting lined up for the parade today. And we're going to be down on the ground. I think there's people already down in lawn chairs, getting ready to watch said parade. Just a fun piece. You can see how beautiful the river is, and neat mural over there. We've driven across this bridge, I don't know, a dozen times already to find car washes and Walmarts and all that kind of stuff. I haven't seen this one. Look at that, that's cool.
Isn't it crazy how most
Bad Habit, Gladiator. Oh, that's why they've got it next to the rock crawler tent.
That's
cool stuff. There's not much Jeep left on there. There's your JL hood latches and the grill and the front portion of the cover. Other than that, that stopped being a Jeep a long time ago. It's cool. I'm still a child. Well, I was gonna say I have some type of LS, but I have no idea. Funny because it's actually facing backwards. So what's neat about this is most people think of the engines, you know, kind of being your standard forward facing, and what this is actually the engine is mid-engine, then you have your transmission, and then your transfer case. So we actually start driver sitting over the transfer case, then transmission, then engine. Here's all our hydraulic fluid, hydraulic reservoir, because this thing would be four-wheel steering, because that's standard in the monster truck industry at this point. And look at those control arms. That's crazy.
Is that a brake pad right there?
It is a brake pad. So what this has, that's a really good observation, Davey. So what this has is something called pinion brakes. And pinion brake is a technology that we saw out of the 40s through the 60s. Instead of having independent brakes at the wheels, they would just grab right at the pinion. And so to actually put a brake that will stop this would actually, the brake would be way too big, it'd be inefficient. So you grab a brake right at the input energy of the drive line, and you grab the pinion from spinning, and it'll stop the truck, the Jeep in this situation. That's cool. Dave, you want to go check out the river again?
Stay away from that river.
Dana Spicer booth. It's weird. So a couple years ago we were here and our booth was right down there. This year, obviously our Jeep is inside. But Dana Spicer booth out here showing off their UD series. So this is going to be the UD 44 series. This is actually the Advantech axle. This over here is going to be the, that actually looks like a, yeah, that's a UD 44 for a JK. You can see there's a little bit of differences there. Pretty cool stuff. We use that. That's what's in that yellow Jeep inside the convention center right now. This is the UD 60. This is my favorite axle on the market. Dollar for dollar. Best bang for your buck. So we go from Dana Spicer's booth to Jeep Corporate. What they've got going on here is they're showing off their Mopar, their performance line of accessories. So I think it's funny, a lot of people online talk about getting their Fox suspension put on. So it is a Mopar performance suspension. Typically it's a 2-inch lift. You get these really gnarly crates with them. They're trying to show off their lights right now. I actually really dig their lights. It's a really quality kit, and like I said, it's not exactly Fox. It is Mopar's engineering, and they use Fox shocks, and that's one of the reasons why we use Fox so much in all of our builds. This is bad. This is their 4xe series, and if you follow much, I love electric Jeeps, and so this is cool because this is just luxury, leather, and electric here. There's our charging port. You're still getting a trail-rated mom mover at that point. Stay. Look at that Trail Hawk. That is cool. Davey, you need that.
I do need this.
We can put a couple 12s back there, Davey. We'll put a couple 12s. Look at that touchscreen.
35.
You can't fit 35s, Davey.
We'll make it fit 35.
We'll make it fit 35s. Look at that. We need that.
I need those seats in my Trailblazer.
Look at they're selling the Lego Jeep. That's good merch. They've got good gear available this year. I like it. So I'm not sad. I understand that. But right here was where we were set up last time we were here. It was a pretty good booth space, if you can imagine. We're not set up this year. Time, energy, and resources. We did get the invite to be in the convention center, so we're thankful for that. We're able to display some Jeeps. But I do miss being out on the street with everybody else. That would have been really cool. Well, look at that Wagoneer. That needs 35s.
Are you gonna get in that Jeep?
I kind of wanted to get in the Jeep. I did. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to do this though, because you're like. Oh my gosh.
I'll get you.
Oh
Get in
my
position.
gosh.
You got 3, 2, 1 there.
Oh, I like it. We. That is what's up. Skyjacker out here with the merch. Empire LED. Competitor Quake and a couple others. With Synergy right now. What they're doing is they're trying to hit the spectrum of our market. So what they're doing over here, it's smart. So they're showing off their suspension, they got their tires aired down just a little bit. It's got it all pretzeled up and looking fly. Again, Fox shocks with the piggybacks going on there. And then over here, they're appealing to the market who really likes the flash. Obviously, they've got probably their suspension, nice clean lift kit on there. But then those massive wheels, rims, and a tire, a little skinny tire. Not the most practical off-road, but I've already been standing here about 4 minutes, and there's been nothing shy of like 6 people who needed pictures with that Jeep. So, they got the sound system, the nice wrap, and really you get a vibe for what the Jeep community is all about. You got both spectrums represented here. I think that's awesome. That makes sense. All right, so despite the fact this is probably, I don't even know, these 24s, are they? Let's check it out. So we've got 24 by 16.5 by R26. So it's a 26 wheel. We've got 42, as I'm reading it backwards. So 24-inch wheel, 42-inch tall, and aspect ratio. So it's 16.5-inch wide, right? It's just absolutely massive tire. Now, this is no slouch. I understand, in the off-road community, this is not exactly our go-to build setup, but this is where Synergy brings the heat, okay? So they've got their beefy steering setup, and you see this has been used, right? This is the Curry hybrid axle, so it's a high pinion. The pinion and ring of pinion has actually been tilted back a little bit to provide superior oiling. I can see airline or electric line. I feel like that's electric back there. I don't know. Nope, that's air. So we've got, probably ARBs or something in there. Synergy's links, big, massive steering knuckles. We got our RAM assist here. Now, I'd say probably the #1 product, and this is JK here. #1 product we see are these steering box brace supports here, and so they've done a nice job. They've powder coated it up, so we got this nice color palette here. So despite the fact that it's got a flashy wrap and big wheels, this thing is set up to actually crawl, to actually wheel. It is all Synergy's leading products under there. Really cool stuff. I always gotta stop and look at an LJ.
Well, that's what they're supposed to look like.
Right? That's what I was thinking. All aluminum bumpers, fender armor, right. I like about this one, if you look in, so this is going to be your 6-speed manual, but we have the 2 sticks, right? So what happens, this is your little quiz for YouTube. What do 2 sticks in a modern Jeep represent? That's what you got to go Google, do your research. 2 sticks in a modern Jeep. Answer is there's an Atlas hiding somewhere down in there, and so we know that this thing has some wicked crawl ratio for what the Jeep is. Low center of gravity build, dig it all the way around. Is this yours?
Yes, sir.
I like it.
Good. I'm glad to hear somebody know what they're talking about. Because I hear all kinds of different things about the double stick, and they go, wait a minute, why will you have 3 sticks in there? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, especially because then you go to your old Jeeps and they have just a high-low and then and then front and, you know, well,
Right.
fore and
Yes.
not, right? So a lot of people, when we would take our vintage Jeeps out, they'll be like, why is there 3 sticks? And you really throw them off with 4, because a lot of our older Jeeps will have like a PTO on them. And so you really can, or an overdrive, depending, right? It's cool to see it worked. And I always tell people, like, if people are really concerned about the mud or the dirt, you're like, oh, they're not really our customer. Like, our customers really like to see them used, right?
Yeah,
Functional.
And I mean, I like it that it looks pretty. It's still a pretty Jeep.
Oh,
but
it is.
Once you start looking at it closely, you will see the little details that it gets used.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the gap right here where it's
Yes, where you hammered,
Yes.
you hammered on something and it
Yes.
pried out from around it, and yeah, that was a big lever at one point in time.
That's why I kind of leave the mud there, so it covers all the scratches.
So I've learned at this point, because I am the guy who sees those things. Typically, I'm like, I just stay quiet, and we've learned that years ago, like not to just nitpick on people's things and just appreciate them for the whole that they are. I actually really like this, the little rear view mirror. We talked about that a couple weeks ago for rear view mirror options or side view mirror. That's one that we didn't talk about, but what it does is it allows you to have the tube doors on, which go back to doors off in Pennsylvania. We need these tube doors to stay legal for customers who are in PA, maybe some New York areas, and so they can't put the lights or the rear view mirror here. You put it up here. I like that. I dig that. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
We go find the parade. So Jeep family, we are along the parade route. This is actually a little more of a mild area. The Savage was getting great footage down there. The problem with down there is it was like every 6 Jeeps they were wheel stacking. So it slowed the parade down a lot. But we have this big gap here. It's kind of neat. We have the Mud Head and Stadium on the other side here. You know, we've got all these very cool Jeeps. We've seen things as old as 1946 come through. And obviously you can buy a Jeep if you want it, because a number of them come through with for sale signs. And that's kind of fun, tempting if you know me. And I mean, look at that one. How unique is that thing? And just the bubble machine. I think the bubbles are the greatest. I'm gonna totally implement that. There's a sweet CJ7 coming through next to the Gladiator. That's what's neat about this parade, is that you are getting all types of Jeeps. We've seen Cherokees, the older versions, we've seen Grand Cherokees, we've seen KLs, the newer versions. I'm seeing a kid wander out into the parade route himself right now. Fortunately, parent has drugged them back. It's all types of good stuff. A lot of people having fun, dancing, singing. There goes a Dub J Cherokee. So it's not just all the new Jeeps, it's all Jeeps. A great experience here in Toledo right now. People are literally giving them Michigan. There is a Michigan decorated Jeep over here, and the crowd is not happy. Not happy with them right now. Needless to say, people are actually booing them and yelling, "You're in the wrong state." Yikes. IJ, a couple of JLs, JT, and then there's a Surrey coming on the back side of this one. Surreys were a well, that's not actually a real Surrey, is what that comes down to. So that's actually a CJ2A done up to kind of look like a Surrey, unless it was some type of company trim package. Kind of neat looking nonetheless. I like it. I like it. All right, coffee reloaded for Saturday. This is technically day one at Toledo Jeep Fest. We watched the parade, which kicked off at 11 and went 3-ish plus hours. I was actually able to watch them from the hotel room, and it was a bridal party, bringing the party. We did a walk around, walked through a couple of the big booths. We still got a couple that we need to hit up. The vendor area was pretty dead, but that's because the parade was kicking off. So we're heading over to the convention center floor. We're gonna check out some of the Jeeps over there, see what those builds look like. We're gonna check in on our own Jeep. So entrance to the convention center, we actually came through the hotel. Out there is the main vendor area. I'm not sure what this puppy is doing, but that's pretty spectacular. That is
If you speak Jeep, what kind of Jeep do you speak?
That's fantastic. I'm too busy watching the dog at the moment.
No,
Simpson family Jeep.
Hi, I'm Simpson Family Jeep, so.
Simpson Family Jeep.
Thank
Oh,
you.
you come out to our band.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm a 10-year sponsor of the event. I mean, I'll take this, and I'm also already signed up to sponsor this one as well. But thank you so much for handing me the promotional Bantam Jeep Heritage Festival, Trail Fest, October 7th through 9th. We're gonna be set up there as vendors. We'll be there doing social media as well. Would you like to tell us about Bantam?
It's the birthplace of the Jeep.
Birthplace of the Jeep.
Birthplace of Jeep,
Yep.
right? So the particular event, we've talked about it a bunch on our podcast or any of our social media marketing. So it's been going on since basically 2011. Trailfest started about 2.5 years ago, and Bantam, the actual board, bought a piece of property, relatively about 300 acres off-site. Is it about 300?
238.
All right, 238. 300 sounds better. And they have a bunch of different guided trails or kind of predetermined trails. So this is not just a free-for-all ride like some of the other parks that we're used to going to. It's going to be, you're going to pick a particular red, blue, black, so on and so forth. And there will be guides, recovery people, really cool for just even your first time to your most advanced Jeepers. You want to check it out, and it's a great fall activity. The trees are changing colors, and there's some vendors there, and obviously lots of cool Jeeps to check out. So we'll be there, and hopefully you will be too. So solidly, I actually did a live when we loaded in the other day. I purposely avoided this area because I'm like a kid in a candy shop because I love this Jeep over here. 1960 Jeep fire truck, Kaiser Jeep Toledo plant, modified by the Howe fire apparatus for Libby Owens Ford Glass Company, donated to Rossford Fire Department. Little flat fenders doing work. That's just cool. I don't know about the skeleton. That's just for fun. But look at these. I mean, these are they're just for doing work. So I'm all types of giddy over this one. The fire truck that we just saw, this is the same or similar platform. This is authentically an FC 170. Again, we're gonna know that by the wheelbase, the length of it itself. It would have had a different bed on it, but those beds were notorious for rusting out. This is a beautiful, looks like a survivor piece. You can see a little bit of the standard rust around the cab corner. That would have happened on the beds entirely. what they've done with this one is super cool. Most other people aren't going to get all geeked up like this, but this actually has a replacement front end in it. This is actually a very similar front axle and suspension as you would see in like a TJ Wrangler or an XJ front end. This might even be something like that. Well, I don't know, based on the bolt pattern. We'll have to figure out what that is, maybe do a little more investigation, but this thing is just set up so well and it is so cool. Definitely I'm a little jealous because if you've ever seen Old Blue, he looks a lot like this. A little more ragged out than Old Blue is than this. This is gorgeous, but super cool. All right, so good day. We managed to walk a part of the vendor area. The Savage and I did a nice job trying to keep the camera on and catch some really cool content. We managed to, outside of like my coffee hissy fit and all that kind of stuff, that's all behind us now. So we covered a good bit of the vendor area. We cut through, we covered the other side of the road, and that took us right to about 11 o'clock, and we headed down to see the parade at the main intersection. And that was really cool. Oftentimes we're in the parade, and so it's really challenging for me to get to just enjoy the parade as an enthusiast. And it was really neat because we're at the main intersection, and so you had the local camera crews, you had all of the professional media for the event itself. The Savage was out there. He pushed right into the parade route and did a great job of getting high quality content that obviously I will be seeing here in this video. And so there was a lot of wheel stacking at the parade and slowed the parade going way down. But there was tons and tons of just really unique, very cool Jeeps with lots of different things that made them, really desirable to see. Some people wheel stacked well. Some people just rev their engines and bump tires together, but that's okay. There was, however, a proposal. So I gotta tell you, the highlight of the parade for me was they had a red, a white, and a blue Jeep. And the white Jeep parked right in the center of the road, and the red Jeep wheel stacked on one side, and the blue Jeep, the red and the blue wheel stacked on either side of the white. And that was really cool. And while everybody's attention happened there, two Jeep vehicles behind it, guys slipped out of the vehicle, they got out to take pictures, and they staged a proposal, and that was really fun, very sweet. Fortunately, she said yes in the moment. How could she say anything else? She was literally trapped by hundreds of people, hundreds, maybe thousands of people staring at her, and she had to finish riding in the Jeep the rest of the way. But God bless them, and hopefully they have a beautiful, happy marriage, and that's all good. I don't know, it was funny. It was really neat watching the parade, and then we managed to finish out the day hanging out in the convention center. Of course, we have Jeeps in the convention center. We have that big, beautiful yellow LJ. It's on display. We have some friends who have Jeeps in the convention center. So a big thank you to the event organizers for giving us that opportunity. And we hung out on there, listened to some of the special speakers, watched some of the presentations, saw the best of the parade was actually, because it was a patriotic theme this year, there was a red and white Willys pickup truck and a blue and white Willys pickup truck that drove through the parade together. And they actually awarded best of show for the parade, I believe, to those two pickup trucks, or best of show, the show and shine. I'm not exactly sure. They shared the honors for red, white, and blue on that. That was really cool. And we spent a little time hanging out with the Dana Spicer booth with Zach
and kind of drooling over the Helltrax build with their patented track design. And Zach helped build the Jeep itself, kind of checking out that kind of stuff as well. So very successful day, and tomorrow we'll get to do it again, and then pack up and head home and be right back into podcasts and normal content and into the shop for some really cool builds going on there.